Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Caspian and I read a lot of books, mainly library books. And yeah, so you might have seen my Easter vlog. My Easter didn't really go as planned, so I have now finished this book and I have started the one book I have left on my original TBR from my TBR game for April. Yeah, it's only the 9th of April, so that's amazing. So my plan is to read that one, and so in this little vlogish video I'm going to talk about this one, and then I will talk about the one I've started and the prompt that it fulfilled on my TBR game for the month, and then I will come back to you when I have read like 150 pages of it, and then I will come back when I have finished it, and then we'll see how long this has become. Hopefully I will maybe read another book in this vlog. It might also be that I simply roll the die, or maybe I will, if this becomes too long, then I might roll the die in the next video. So we'll see where it takes us. April is an interesting month for sure. So I finished this one. Okay, so this one was a free pick on my TBR game for April, and it was a passion pick for my TBR game from Easter. Yeah, so this is a romance, a fantasy romance, or I would say that it's a romance with fantastical elements, maybe magical realism, because the only fantastical in this are the dragons, I would say. So this is a book about Saphira and her little baby dragon Kafé that she has started since her grandmother died. She was raised by her grandmother, and when her grandmother died, Saphira, sold the house that they lived in together and used the profits to buy this little cafe with an apartment above, I think it is. So when we enter this book, she has had the cafe for 6 months and she's kind of struggling because the baby dragons spew fire and destroy furniture and clothes. So she's kind of, you know, it's barely working. And then in steps Aiden, who has inherited a dragon egg from his brother that was a dragon rider and really loved dragons. Aiden hasn't really wanted to have a dragon. He's not interested in it, and he's not interested in being a rider or racing with the dragons. That is big in their family. But of course he accepts the egg because it's the only thing he's got left from his brother. But he's struggling with raising this little demon, as he calls it, Sparky. So he walks into the cafe and enlists Saphira to train his dragon for him. And yeah, of course he does this because he fancies her. He's like almost struck by lightning when he sees her, and he's like, I need to see her again. And then she, you know, he sees that there are things that need to be done around the cafe, and he's like, but I can pay you if you train my dragon, you know. So that's kind of in the beginning of the book, and then she trains the dragon, the cafe evolves, and the relationship, you know, evolves. It's yeah, I think it evolves quite naturally. And in the beginning of the book, or like the two-thirds of the book, I thought that this was more of a YA book because it was so cute, just so adorable. But then towards the end of the book there were some scenes. It's closed door romance, like spice. The spice is behind closed doors. The most you see are kinda smooching and kissing and that sort of thing. But it's very tasteful, and I still think a young person could read this. But it is an adult book, and the last third of the book, or the last quarter of the book, I was like, yeah, okay, I can see how this appeals to adults, but I still think maybe it can go on either shelf, So I gave this 4 stars because I did have some things in the beginning that I couldn't really visualize that well, and that sort of thing that made me not see it as a 5-star read. So 4 stars, not 5 stars, but it has stuck with me since I finished it yesterday. Yesterday. I finished it yesterday, and it has stuck with me. So and I found out when I went to the grocery store yesterday that there's 2 more books in this series. One with a bookstore and one with, what was the other one? Bakery. So in this book there are a person called Lavinia that works at the she works at the cafe, but she's also like an intern at the veterinary clinic, and she has a best friend that is a baker. So I think that the bakery, Baby Dragon Bakery, is about those 2 people. And then the bookshop, I don't know who owns a bookshop, but I recognized the name from the back of the book as the love interest Aiden in this book, his cousin. Yeah, his cousin. So I am interested enough to read those, but I want to read them in Swedish because I really liked this translation. And the translation is made by... Who made this translation? Who translated this? Isabel Valencia. So I really enjoyed her translation into Swedish, and I would love for her to translate the other 2 so I can read those. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. This is This Woven Kingdom. That is such a hard word to say, at least for me, by Tahere Mafi. And this was a book by a female author for my April TBR. Yeah. And it's the last book I need to read out of the 4 that I rolled for that one, for the whole month. Yeah. So this book is about Alice. She is a disposable servant, never to be known for who she really is, the long-lost heir to an ancient Jinn kingdom. She is haunted always, forced to hide in plain sight, lest she expose herself to danger. Until one day she makes a mistake. The crown prince Kamran has heard the prophecies. He knows of the fearsome monster promised to kill his king. Darkness is fast descending upon his empire, driving Kamran to desperately seek out its source. But as he grows ever more suspicious of the servant girl with the strange eyes, the more he learns about her, and the harder it is to turn away, even if falling for someone like Elisa means forfeiting everything he's ever known. So in this book there are 2 creatures in the world, on Earth, and the jinns were first, and then I am not sure what happened, but I haven't read that much yet. But then humans came, and the jinn called them clay because the jinn is made from fire, and they are sustained by water. They don't need to eat. But clay people, or humans, come from the earth and needs, earthly sustenance to continue living. And yeah, it's so funny, Clay. So when it is from her perspective, she calls them Clay. So I haven't read very much yet. I started yesterday evening, so I will get back to you when I have read like 150 pages. And my goal today is to read like 200 pages. No, my goal, yeah, around 200 pages. I'm hoping to get back to you later this evening. And I'm reading a lot right now when I am exporting this. And then I have to upload it to YouTube, and that's gonna take some time as well. And so I'm gonna have some time to read. But it is already 20 minutes past 5 in the afternoon this Thursday. So we will see. I also had plans to fill out my my journal. So I have started to combine my regular journal and my medicine journal. Medicine, not like pharmacy. I am a shamanic practitioner, and so I put my morning meditations and my rituals and stuff in this book. So this is what I noticed. When I had a book dedicated to reading, like a reading journal, I fell behind. I'm still behind in that one. I still have like 3 months from last fall to figure out. So I decided that I was gonna use this for everything. So when I finish a book, I save a page right there, like with the date. So I have saved a page for Baby Dragon Café, I think. Yeah, so I've saved a page for Baby Dragon Café, and I'm almost up to date with this one, but I haven't filled out Quicksilver, I think. Yeah, I have Quicksilver left, and I have my March wrap up to do. So I was gonna do those today, but we'll see where I go, what I prioritize, because my goal, I'm almost at the end of this, and I want it to be up to date when I change to my new one. So yeah, that is how I'm gonna do it, because I was thinking, should I have it in my bullet journal, like my calendar, or should I have it, because I have a bullet journal with my calendar, so I made my own, and then I have this one for journaling. And I was like, where should I put the books I read? And then I realized that this is the best one, because I go through it continually throughout, like day by day. So it's easy to just stop and save a page for a book that I finish. It's not as easy in this one. So yeah, because I want to write more than just the wrap up. The wrap up I could have fit in this one between the months. But I want to say more about the books, like save some quotes and that sort of thing. It was a quote from the Kings of the Wild. It was, he had a point to make, but he was taking the scenic route. I love that. I can relate. I can relate. So anyway, I'll get back to you when I read some more. Hi again. Good morning. It is now Friday the 10th of April, and last night I decided to DNF this. So I read about 102 pages before deciding to DNF it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why. And one thing I did enjoy was the writing style. So I am open to trying something else by this author, because she's written so much and I don't feel like I need to just throw everything in the bin because of this book. Now, the beginning of the book was good. I felt drawn into the story of Alice and her perspective, and then came the princess perspective, Cameron, And I was drawn in there as well. I was curious to why he acts the way he does, etc. I could see the seeds of things to come. But then we got back to Alice's perspective, and I found myself just utterly bored. Completely and utterly bored, to the point where I started questioning, am I fed up with fantasy books? Am I fed up with reading at all? Where do I go from here? Or, you know, almost like a existential crisis. Not on that level, but like with reading. And I was like, if the book makes me think like this, then I need to just put it down. Because I felt that way sitting on the couch in the evening. Then I went to bed, and I had said to myself, I'm just gonna see if I can read some more before I fall asleep. Maybe something will happen. Because, you know, you don't want to let go of a book if you started to feel intrigued by it. But then I lay down and I started reading again. I was like, no. And I instantly remembered, no, I'm too bored. I'm not invested. This isn't fun. And yeah. I am, as I said, open to reading something else by this author, but I'm done with this Woven Kingdom. And I should know that if I have a book on my TBR for 3 months, because this is the last of 3 months that I can borrow this book, so this was like now or never. Or I can, you know, return it and then pick it up again and then borrow it and extend the loan again and again. But I should know by now that if I don't prioritize a read for so long and like push myself to read it now or never, it's not gonna be for me. Not because I pushed myself, but if I wasn't intrigued by it enough to pick it up in 2.5 months, then I'm not gonna be intrigued enough when I pick it up. So yeah, I have had some answers to a post I posted on Fable, because I post my reading journey on Fable. I used to be on Goodreads, but I started Fable and I was gonna do both, but then I just stopped with Goodreads, and I haven't been on there for the entire year, 2026 I think. I haven't bothered updating it. I want to remove myself from that because of, you know, Amazon. So yeah, that is where I'm at. So now I'm gonna roll the die and see where I end up, because now I have read everything that was on my TBR for April. I was kind to myself. And yeah, there are quite a few books in my TBR box from the library that I could imagine myself reading or see myself reading, because they are so vastly different from this one, like other genres, and just completely different. So let's hope we do it like this in Sweden. Let's hold a thumb that it is one of those. And yeah. And today I have this little squirrel that is actually, you know, related to the runes, because we have the squirrel Ratatosk in the Nordic tradition. So I'm gonna put him there, because that is where I ended up last. Okay, so I ended up on the square of Nautis, which is the rune of the Norns, and that is to pick a book that is set in the past, the present, the future, or all of the above. And I choose the present. I'm going to dig my teeth into Abby Jimenez, Say You'll Remember Me. I have read quite a few books by her. I think I've read them all. I'm not sure. But I think I've read almost every one of her books, and I have loved them. And yours truly, I gave 5 stars. So, and just for the summer, I really enjoyed as well. And yeah, I look forward to this one. I have heard some people being disappointed, like the quality of the story and characters and everything just went out the window with this one, but I'm going in cautiously optimistic. So this is a romance series where you can read the books out of order, because it's like it's different couples in each, and they are loosely connected in some ways, like through their workplace or friend group and that sort of thing. You know the drill. So this says, there might be no such thing as the perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten? Immediately yes. That is until he opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing. But there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong, unless he can admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth that any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only no amount of distance or time is nearly enough to forget that something between them. That's something between them. And the only thing better than one perfect memory is to make a life, and even a love, worth remembering. So we'll see what I think about this. Xavier and Samantha. Here I come. I think I am kind of assuming that it's good, because I'm thinking I'm gonna fly through it. I think I read yours truly in a day, 400 pages. I usually do with a good romance book. Just zoop or swoosh. So I will get back to you when I have read like 100 pages, 125 maybe. I think it's about 400 pages long. So that feels like a good idea. 353 pages. So yeah, I'll get back to you when I'm maybe 100, 125 pages in to let you know how I feel about it. And we'll go from there. Okay, so I am how far into this? 120 pages. And I like it. I really like it. It's a very easy read. And that is what I wanted and what I needed right now. And yeah, so in this book we follow Xavier and Samantha, and I must say that the synopsis really didn't do it justice at all, because the synopsis, made me think that Xavier was this almost like a brute, or like really, really, really dry, but he is not that. That has nothing to do with why she said to him to forget her. I kind of, maybe I misunderstood the synopsis, but so in this book we follow Samantha and Xavier, and they have this wonderful, amazing date the night before she's leaving to move back home to help care for her mother that has developed dementia. She's not elderly, she's just sick, and she doesn't tell Xavier this when she accepts the date. So yeah, and they, as the synopsis says, they have a hard time keeping away from each other, or he has a hard time forgetting her. So right up where I am now, he has gone to visit her, and they both hope that they are going to meet, and they're gonna be like, ugh, so they can forget each other because they live very far apart. She's in California, he's in Minnesota. So of course that's not happening. They are having an amazing time. So that's where I am, in the middle of the amazing time, and I will get back to you when I've finished it, because that's kind of it. It's like this really cute romance, very obvious in a lot of ways, and very, predictable, but in a good way. in my opinion. That is why I read these kinds of books, because of the predictability and the happiness. And then there's also some kind of, you know, something that is heavier, like the dementia in this one. So yeah, and he's a veterinarian, and it is really hot. So yeah, I will see you soon. Okay, so it is now Saturday, and I have finished this book. I finished it around 1 p.m. and then I went for a bike ride, so my hair is kind of messy. But yeah, I have no words. 5 stars, and it broke me. It broke me. I had tears streaming down my face. So this is a book about 2 people that are forced into a long distance relationship because one of them has to go home to her hometown and live with her family and help take care of her mother with dementia. And not only was the long distance killing me as much as it was killing them, but it also handled the like subjects like loneliness and grief and grief with the dementia, of course, like seeing someone you love deteriorate like that, but also grief because there was a death in this book. It was so sudden, and I gasped. So I don't remember when I cried so much. I did laugh a little bit, like here and there, because it is supposed to be a rom-com. But it was more it was heavier than I think the other books. I cried for more like heartfelt, heavy reasons than I can remember with any of her other books. So I'm sorry, but the people that was bored by this, they have no heart. They are dead inside. Or so traumatized that they can't, you know, they can't allow themselves to feel it and are just like bored, but they are really dissociating. That sort of thing. Because I am shook. So that is all I have to say about this. Read it. You know, if you love romance books and if you can stomach some heartache in different ways, read it. And there's like a trigger warning in the beginning, so read that. Okay, now on to my next role. Great, I got a bucket, and I actually have some priority reads right now because there are 2 books that has to be read this month, and the other ones, you know, I can extend alone, but 2 of them need to be read this month, and I chose the shorter one. 2 Can Keep a Secret, 2 Dead Homecoming Queens, 5 Years Later, Is the Killer Back? Karen McManus. This is a YA, I think, yes. And I'm a member of a book club book on Fable that's reading this right now, and I wanted to read it with them, so that is why it's a priority. I think it's due back to the library as well. I think as soon as I picked it up, like the day after, there was a queue on it, so I don't know what happened there. But anyway, so I'm gonna read this one. Echo Ridge is reeling, and I think it's a town. This picturesque town, nestled near the Canadian border, experienced its first tragic loss in 1996 when high school senior Sarah Corcoran vanished while walking home from the library. Then, 5 years ago, homecoming queen Lacey Kilduff was found dead in the aptly named Murderland Halloween Park. Now the killer claims to be back, a small town that keeps losing its homecoming queens to murders still unsolved. Echo Ridge is not a good place to be popular. So I think this is going to be something completely different than anything I've read this month. See you when I have reached 100 pages of this. 100 pages, I think it is, it's around 320 pages. So yeah, not much shorter than this, but it looks so much shorter. I don't know. See you soon.
Nice, Andrew.
It certainly is, sir.
No, Andrew, the correct response to good night is good night.
Okay, so I have finished Two Can Keep a Secret. I should have come here like talking to you guys yesterday, because it's Monday today, and I said I would be back to talk to you when I had read 125 or 100 pages. Well, I had all day yesterday to read and just chill, and so I did, and I didn't stop. I got up to like make a new cup of tea or get some food and that sort of thing, but I did not stop to talk to you. I'm sorry. So I have finished this one, and it was a really easy read. I think I'm trying not to compare it too much to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, because it gives me the same vibes all the way through, but there are differences, of course, because it's two different authors, and I had to go check when both of the books were released, because the vibe was so similar. And this one came out first. It came out in January of 2019, and then A Good Girl's Guide to Murder came out in March the same year. So it's only like 2 months apart from when they were first released. So they were written at the same time, So neither has copied the other. I don't know if they know each other. Maybe they do. But so I have struggled with separating the two, or at least not comparing them. And so I'm trying to think like, what do I think about this, not comparing it to that one. Well, so what is it about? So as I said, it's about this small town losing their homecoming queens, right? So in this book, we follow Ellery, who is she's a part of a twin set. Ellery and Ezra are twins, and they are daughters to Sadie, and Sadie is the sister of Sarah, that was the first girl that went missing. And as soon as they move to this Echo Ridge, because Sadie has some issues, so she's in rehab, so they move to Echo Ridge. And as soon as they do that, things starts happening. And the first thing that's happening is that there are these words splashed on, like, I think it's a wall or something, that hints that the murderer is back, right? And those things keep happening, and they get like dragged into it because Ellery is a real true crime junkie because of what happened to her aunt, and no one's talking about it. She's grown up not knowing anything about her aunt, so that has given her like an incentive to look at true crime movies or series to try and understand what might have happened. So she brings that into this case, but she's really lousy at it. She really is. So she gets herself into some trouble, and it's just a real mess, but it's an entertaining mess, I will say. Then we also follow Malcolm, and he is the brother of Declan, who was accused of the murder of the last girl that went missing, the second girl, 5 years ago. And yeah, so there are some similarities to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder that I'm like, is it too similar? I don't know. But I enjoyed this book. So we follow Malcolm and Ellery, and they become friends, and Ezra as well, and Mia, who is Malcolm's best friend. So the group of the 4 of them starts to kind of investigate this because it's happening around them. So yeah, that's kind of the book, the story of the book, because I don't want to tell you too much about it. I think if you liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, then you would probably like this, because I did. I'm not sure how I will rate this yet, because it was an easy read, I enjoyed it, but I think I need to, I need to compare it a little bit to other books I've read, and that makes it so that I can't give this more than 4, maybe 4.5 stars tops, because it's not a 5-star in comparison to other books I've read in the same genre. So, but I'm on the fence. I really did enjoy it. So if I hadn't read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder before this one, what would I have given it then? Probably 4.5. I would have said it was really, really good, but not the best book ever, in the genre. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with that. So, that is gonna be the last book in this vlog, but it's only the 13th of April. So, I will continue to read books, of course. It's half of the month left, so I will make another vlog that will start with my next roll. That's what I'm gonna do. So I will see you soon. Happy reading, happy spring, xingeling.